Hey guys, welcome back to Learn Web API in 7 days course. In this lecture, we are going to work with ASP.NET Web API routing features. So these are the things which we will be discussing in this lecture. Routing and action selection in ASP.NET Web API, and the three main features of routing: matching the URI root template, selecting the controller, and selecting the apps action. And these are some of the examples of routing with the ASP.NET Web API. So we can define these routes in the API configuration, and then we can keep on using these routing while doing calls to API URI methods. So let's go to Visual Studio and start working on it. So here I have this API configuration class. Earlier here we were using this root template, which was like default API name, and then employee API, and then controller name, and then the ID was optional here. Now I have changed this root template to this one. So now we will be using API, controller, category, and then the ID. And to have this category implementation in here, in my employee class, I have added one more property. In my employee class, actually, in here I have added this category property, and also in DB table we have added the category column here. You can see here. Okay, so and then other calling mechanism is same, like from API we will be hitting the business layer and then the entity framework and getting the data using this employee VM. Okay, so let's run this and see how we can do API calls now using this different root template. So it's running the API application, and here we have this postman tool which we use for calling API. Now you see this when I call this API employee controller, and it calls everything. Why? Because in my API I am saying, when I'm providing this root template, so I'm telling this ID is optional and category is always on. So that's why it doesn't mind, even though category is not provided, ID is not provided, it just keeps on calling the controller method. Now let us use the category. Now our employees are in different categories, like we have employees in HR category, and then we have employees in IT category. Now in HR category, suppose I want that employee which is having ID equal to 2. Now you see this, it's giving me the guy in HR with an ID equal to 2. Now let's try a guy who is in IT and his employee ID is 5. Yeah, we got this one. So this is how we can define a routing template in ASP.NET API configuration class, and then we can keep on using these root based URIs for calling the API methods. So that's it for API routing here. this is how you can actually you can put different routing mechanisms based on the requirements. Suppose you have a requirement wherein you want to pull all the APIs, all the products which are drop type toys. So you can use this routing template, and then you can get the particular toy also based on the ID in the category of toys with the same routing template. So you can define these route templates in your web API configuration class, and then you can define the default values of these route elements, and then you can keep on using. So thank you for watching this video. See you in next lecture.